If you just are in your 20s, young 20s, you just hit the part where nobody's telling you what to do for the first time. It's like the tracks of the rail just ran out. I mean, I remember that feeling, and it is terrifying. Lean into it. The uncertainty is the place that we learn to trust God. Accept it and lean into it. Okay, today I'm going to talk about 10 things that I wish I'd known in my 20s. And this is going to apply to all of us. I mean, when I was 20, I got married young. So I was having kids young. And that decade, for me, was full of insecurity. It was full of fear that I was missing something. I think I lived every single day feeling like there's something more and I'm missing it. And I look back knowing today all that God would do and all that he had planned for me. And I wish I could have just rested into that season and enjoyed it. But even when I was meeting Zach and dating and in college, it just always felt like, is there more? Is there better? Is there something different? I just had so much fear and so many questions about life. And I lived so unsure of myself, unsure of God, and unsure of the way that I was living. But I look at myself back then and I'm so proud of who I was and how I was trying to be faithful. And even that questioning, I think it was just a result of really wanting to please God, really wanting to live a beautiful life, and really wanting to not miss whatever I was supposed to be doing. And I think those are beautiful desires, but man, did that fear steal a lot of those years for me. In fact, when I look back at that decade in my life, I think it's just tainted completely with fear. So we're going to go through, this is things I wish that I knew in my 20s. Number one, I wish I knew to stop worrying about what other people are thinking about you. This is the so obvious one. This is the one that every one of us in our 40s, 50s, 60s, we see it so clearly today that freedom comes when you get over it. I remember I was a pastor's wife in my late 20s, early 30s. Oh man, I couldn't win. And people would come find me and they would say they were leaving the church because of something that I had done. Oh my gosh. I remember I would just spin. I would just spiral. I felt like it was impossible to please everybody, and it was. And when I let go of that, it was a process, of course, but there really was a day. I actually wrote a book about it called Anything. There was a day, a night specifically, that it completely shifted for me. And yes, it still comes back up. And even today, sometimes it'll enter my mind. But this was a moment where the Lord just grabbed me by the face and said, quit, like stop. Because honestly, if you are living a life to please other people, I can promise you, you are living a boring life, because you will never risk. You will never take a chance on a dream or disappointing people, because you have to control that, and you'll waste your life. You will waste your life. The invisible thoughts of people are not worth your time. Now, people matter. And I had to learn, in fact, after I kind of dealt with that part of myself, there was a little bit of just pushing people away because I didn't want to live for their opinion anymore. And there's a balance that people's opinions do matter, but they should not be the guiding force in your life. And they should not be the story that you're living for. Number two, lay down the plan that you have for your life and just surrender to Jesus. There is freedom in this. The plan never goes like you think it will. Planning isn't wrong. It's a gift. In fact, I encourage people to do it. We do it for our lives. We almost yearly will sit down and imagine our life. We do something the end of every year called Dream Guide, where we look back over the past year and we dream about the next year. I am for a plan. And unless you set plans in your life, nothing's going to change. Nothing's going to happen. So I am for that. But we hold all of those plans very loosely because we're following a wild God who has plans for us that we can't even imagine. So if we hold too tightly to those plans, we'll miss the best parts. Most of the best parts of my life, beginning with getting pregnant with my firstborn and adopting Cooper, all of those things were not in the plan and are the best parts of life. So this one's huge. And I still do this. I have someone right now that I'm meeting with for wisdom. A couple people actually. Get a mentor. Get a mentor. That should be the case until we are too old to have a mentor anymore, which would be for me like 80, right? Till everybody older than me is not able to pour into my life anymore. So always have someone a life stage ahead of you, years ahead of you that can speak into your life and help you grow. I am a product of the people that I have allowed to speak into my life, and we all are. And so you want to be intentional about that. The world is speaking into your life every day. When you pick up your phone, thousands of influencers are speaking into your life every day. Make sure there's a voice in real life that knows you, that knows what you're struggling with, and that can help you wrestle through everything you're doing. I wouldn't have done anything in ministry I've done without Michelle Boast. I talk about her all the time. She was my mentor in college, and she taught me to pray. She taught me to believe God for things. She taught me evangelism. She taught me to value people and to invest in their lives. She taught me how to make disciples. That changed the trajectory of my life. And everything I've built has the DNA of what Michelle Boast gave me in college. You need a mentor. You need a mentor right now. Anyone listening to me needs a mentor in their life. Number 4, don't measure your worth by your productivity. You are loved and it's not earned. And, you know, I think this is true for guys and for girls. We can tend to hustle so hard and look back and go, what were we doing? What was the purpose? Do not lose your purpose, your why. Why are you doing it? Work hard, but remember what it's for. Remember why you're doing it. And don't put your worth or identity into it. I remember Zach, he walked through a season where his worth and identity was struggling, and it caused him to really hold back on me. Like I felt like he was just pulling back on my gifts, and he didn't want me to be succeeding in the world. And he went to battle with it. He did. He got counseling and he found freedom. And I'm telling you, that man was a whole different person on the other side of that. And he would say to this day, his freedom came when he quit looking for his identity to come from his work and from his achievement. He was free. And then he was able to pastor people. I watch my husband every day invest in people's lives, and it is so unselfish and beautiful. He shows up for me. He shows up for our kids. He shows up for young men. He shows up for his peers. I mean, weekly he's meeting with one of his best friends just to pray over him and what he's doing and what he's worried about. I watch him do that all the time. And it's because he can enter relationships and not need to find his worth or significance by how he's achieving or what he's doing. He's able to just be there for people and love people well. You master this, you learn to quit finding your identity in what you do. That is freedom. And you actually can work harder and enjoy your work more because it's not having to give you something that it really can't ever give you. Number 5, embrace failure as a part of growth. You're going to fail a lot. In fact, I hope you do. Failure is great. Failure is probably one of our best teachers. I have, even in the midst of public things you've seen succeed, there have been several flops, and I hate flops. I like everything to go up and to the right, but honestly, you can let that define you and stop, or you can go, this is what it is. I remember the first book I ever wrote didn't sell anything. It was called Anything. And nobody knew who I was. I had no platform. They shouldn't have given me a publishing contract, but they did. And I remember my publisher calling me and saying, Jennie, you've got to talk about this book. Like nobody's going to even know about it. And Amazon's sending back all the books. And I look back at that moment. I felt so much shame. I felt embarrassed. I didn't know what I was doing. I was so brand new to that world. And I look back, and if I would have judged my writing career on my first book, how many it sold, how I felt insecure about it, I never would have written another one. And that's turned out. So I really believe failure is a gift, and it should propel us forward. It shows us and teaches us things we need to know. Number 6, Oh, I hate this phrase, but guard your heart. Oh my gosh. I heard this phrase all the time when I was in college. It was like plastered on people's walls. I never knew what it meant. I couldn't quite understand what it meant because I'm not very good at that. I'm very wholehearted. But let me rephrase it to don't run too fast into relationships. Okay? Because here's the thing. Every person that you date, they're either going to break up or they're going to be your spouse. And I think when you move too quickly into a relationship and your heart goes to 20 years from now, like naming your kids and planning your future, there's a protection that leaves the room because you have gone so far past where God has you in the relationship that now if it's not the one, and it's okay if it's not the one, your heart is going to get massively broken. So go slow. Ask the Lord. Be willing to walk away from a relationship. Be willing to face a breakup and don't just, I don't know. I watch this all the time with my kids' friends right now of just these really serious relationships right out of the gate. And I would just say, go slow, get to know each other, learn how each other works. And yes, in doing that, it will protect your heart. Now, if you're headlong in and you're like, I'm already brokenhearted, it's okay. I mean, we're not perfect at this. And I can say this a lot easier now, having been married for quite a while than when I was dating. Take care of your mental health. I mean, this is something all of you know, if you've been here for more than a minute, this is something I talk about all the time. And the reason I talk about it, even though I am primarily trained as a Bible teacher, I have done so much research and so much work in the science of how the brain works. And the reason I did that was because I saw it as the greatest hurdle to personal revival in our generation, for us to get free enough so that we can experience God, so that we can obey God, so that we can do the purposes that He's planned for us. We have to deal with our mental health. It is rampant. Anxiety, depression, isolation, it is rampant. And so get a counselor. If you need medicine, it is a gift. Use medicine. I just have seen people get so healthy and go from fragile and unable to lead and unable to live to completely free and functioning fully in their gifts with joy and confidence just because they got the right help. So don't be afraid of that. And parents, if you're listening, we pay for our kids' counseling as long as they need it. I mean, we have several kids, grown kids right now in counseling. We pay for that because we don't help them with all their life, but that we feel like that is an investment from their past and what they've gone through. And it's an investment in their future families and marriages. And we just wanted them to prioritize it. And so we did not want funding to be a barrier. You may not be able to do that. That's okay. But definitely support your kids being in counseling. Number 8, learn contentment in the middle of uncertainty. Welcome to life. Like if you just are in your 20s, young 20s, you just hit the part where nobody's telling you what to do for the first time. It's like the tracks of the rail just ran out and now you got to figure it out. So, I remember that feeling and it is terrifying, and lean into it. The uncertainty is the place that we learn to trust God, accept it and lean into it, and don't try to fill it with certainty, because sometimes you can figure out a little bit, but honestly, as soon as you figure something out in your 20s, it feels like it changes a few minutes later. And number 9, this one is so important. And I wrote a whole book about this one too. Find your people. I have watched now multiple kids go to college, and it takes a minute in young adulthood in college to find exactly who it is that is going to be your closest people. But don't have 100 friends. You need 2 to 3 really solid ones. And I would encourage all of you to read that book, even if you feel like you have your people, because it helps put definition around deep community. And it helps the people that you're already in relationship with go deeper. This matters more than you can imagine, because we were built by God. And scripture says in Genesis, it is not good. Right when He made man, He said, it is not good for man to be alone. And He wasn't just talking about marriage. Obviously, He was talking about connection. He was just saying we were not built to go through life alone. And so Find those people that you want to invest in and stick with them. I've had the same best friends for almost a decade, and we've almost quit each other multiple times, but we have fought for it. And we've actually promised each other we're going to stick because they are like family now. You can't replace that easily. We are a culture that seems to quit people so quickly. And so stay with your people. Now, there are times, not in this podcast, am I going to be able to address this? There are times that a relationship you need to move on. But in general, find those healthy, great friendships and keep them. And then last, make God your friend. And what I mean by that is he wants a relationship with you. He wants to talk with you. He wants to show you what to do. He wants to be a part of your best moments and worst moments. And he wants to walk through your days with you, and learning to talk to God, learning to listen to God. That is going to be the most life-changing practice you can create. And if you create it in your 20s, it can and could last you your entire life. And prioritize it. And it takes discipline. It takes setting down technology. It takes being with God, but it does change absolutely everything. In fact, if you get that one right, seek ye first the kingdom of God, the rest of the things work themselves out.